Hope you are able to view the screen. Hope you are able to get my voice. Hope I am visible to all of you. Please confirm so that I can start our today's discussion on life cycle management of cGXP computerized system. Many companies lack in ensuring this life cycle management approach for the computerized system. So I am here to discuss today about this life cycle management. Okay, so you please confirm, okay, about the your screen is visible, then you are able to see me and my voice is clear to all of you, so you can just confirm. So meantime I will start about the brief introduction about the things and all, so by the time you can just share me the information. Okay, so why we selected this topic about the life cycle management? Because most of the companies, even most of the people, don't know about what does it mean about the life cycle, and they lack into this life cycle management of cGXP computerized system. So today I am here to discuss about the concept about the life cycle approach, and then second is how you can implement this life cycle approach for a cGXP computerized system in line with the guidelines, of course, like FDA, GAMP and UGMP. There are different stages, about 14 stages are there, how you can ensure the life cycle approach, that we are going to discuss today. Okay, so let us discuss this topic. So we will discuss about the overview and other things. By the meantime, you can please confirm that whether I am audible, I am visible and the screen is visible to all of you. You can just confirm in the chat box, so that by the time I will not wait and I will not waste the time. I will discuss about the overview and the other things. Okay, so this is what the importance of topic. Now you understood about the importance of topic, because most of the people don't know about the concept about the life cycle approach and how it can be implemented for computerized systems, that we need to discuss. So what agenda will be, the after this agenda or overview, we will discuss about the know your trainer. So my name is Hitendra Kumar Shaha. I am a cGMP compliance consultant, trainer and auditor from NADH plus GXP compliance services. So there will be some couple of slides about my CV, because many companies consider this training as an external training program. So they record as external training and they put the reference about the link of the video and attended video and all, timing and all, and they attach the training presentation with the training record. So they need a copy of the CV of a trainer. So that is the reason I am putting the CV in the training presentation only. If you are interested in the training presentation, copy of the training presentation, please put your comment about the training presentation is required, so that I will share a link and from that you will able to download the training presentation. Remember that after this live session, if you are interested in a training presentation copy, then I will not able to share you after the live session. So if you are interested in a training presentation, then you need to attend the live session and you can give the request in the chat box that you need a training presentation. Second thing, if you need a certificate for the training, then you should be the member of a cGMP or a advanced GMP under the YouTube membership program, and then you are entitled to get the certificate for this session. Okay, so we will discuss about the brief requirements, about the expectations of the different regulatory requirements and all, then how the development, validation, implementation and deployment is considered as a part of the life cycle approach, followed by the control, maintenance and retirement. So retirement also plays a very important role when we are considering the life cycle approach. So that we will be discussing, followed by the question and answer session and vote of thanks and contact details. So under question answer session, if you have any questions, you are requested to put your question in the chat box. At the end of this session, I will go through each question and I will read the question and then I will respond to your all queries. Okay. this is the agenda. So as per the agenda, the brief CV about me. So I already shared my name. My name is Hitendra Kumar Shaha. I am a cGMP compliance consultant, trainer and auditor from NDH plus GXP Compliance Services. I am in pharma since more than 23 years of experience, and I am having the expertise with respect to US FDA, EU GMP, PEEKS, MHRA, TGA, TPD, ANVISA, and all the regulatory agency regulatory guidelines. And also I have faced lot of audits. I am having specifically the expertise with respect to the audits and compliance. So so many audits I faced. You can go through the second slide. I am not much focusing on these slides. Okay. And about the computerized system experience, I handled major equipment, instrument, softwares which are used in pharma, like Lab Solution, Empower 3, LIMS, Streams, TrackWise, and also I am supporting so many computerized system vendors for their technical point of view. Okay, and these are the companies where I work earlier. I started my career with Sun Pharma, then I work in Blue Cross Laboratories, I work in Alembic Pharma, then I was head in US Vitamins, then I work in Zydus Cadila as a compliance head, taking care of all the compliance related activities. Then I work in multinationals also, where I work in AstraZeneca, Sanofi, Mylan. So these are the major companies where I work. Since 13 years I am in the auditing role, where I am supporting different type of audits to the different companies. Okay, so this is what about the brief of my CV and disclaimer. Meantime, you can just confirm that yes, thank you. You confirm that I am audible and everything is okay. So I will just move ahead on that. Thank you so much. Okay, so that is what I just expect, because what happened, this is an online training, no, so I will not able to understand whether I am audible or I am visible to all of you and all. So that is the reason I just request all people, you can put your questions. Okay, and I got some comment that share the presentation. Of course I will share the presentation at the end of the session, don't worry about that. Okay, so this is just a brief about the, and I am putting here disclaimer that this is only for a training purpose and learning purpose. You need to refer the current guideline. If you want to implement, you can go through this disclaimer in detail. Okay, now let us start our today's discussion on life cycle approach. So what is exact expectation of a ICH? ICH, ICH is very novel guideline actually. ICH gives you all the different sorts of solutions and support. So the in the ICH guideline, you can see the life cycle approach, and it is in the 4 stages: development, technology transfer, commercial stage, and the retirement stage. So what exactly expectation under the development? So these 4 stages are explained in the ICH. Now with respect to the computerized system, what is expected, that I am putting here. So when we are discussing about a development of, now focus on cGXP computerized systems now only, okay, considering the cGXP computerized systems. So when we are discussing about a development aspect, so where we need to focus: software and hardware development, need for development, means why you need to develop the specific software or hardware, trigger for development. So what is any document? See, trigger means not with respect to the commercial. So I'm not discussing about money. What quality system or what document will trigger the development of the particular software and hardware? Then followed by what different type of testings will be done at the development stage by the developer. This is called the white box testing, where the program or the coding is correct or not, that is all tested by the tester. So these are the IT experts. So this testing also the part of the development. Okay, so this testing is required because whether the development is correct or not, that is what the understanding behind this development. Then the second is technology transfer. So yes, so this is basically the transfer of the knowledge or system between the development and the user. Okay. So when we are discussing about technology transfer, so what does it include? It includes, please try to understand now, if the the computerized software is developed. Okay, so when I am using the word computerized system, please consider this as a complete whole of software as well as hardware. Sometime by mistake I may use the word only software, so please try to understand. So my point here is, what about the technology transfer? See, who is the owner of that particular system, computerized system? The owner is the developer who developed the system. That person knows all the in and out of the system. So when this system is given to the user, some knowledge transfer is required. So knowledge transfer should be in the form of the training, right? So some training, and with respect to the training, more focus should be with respect to the what are the key functionalities of that particular computerized system that has to be explained. Okay, try to understand. When we are discussing about training is not only just to follow what is the process flow. Major point when we are discussing about technology transfer or transfer of the knowledge, so the developer team should explain about what are the key functionalities of that particular system, what are its use, and what are their strengths and what are their weakness, and what are the alternate mechanism to address the weakness. This is all need to be discussed as a part of the technology transfer. See, any computerized system, whatever you consider, it is not 100% proof. Try to understand this. Not 100% proof. Whatever you take it, you take any mobile, any software, any hardware, whatever, always there will be upgradations. So whatever the lacunas are there, or whatever the negative points are there, and if that points are impacting on your cGXP or data integrity requirements, then these are considered the weak points. So how that weak points are handled, how these weak points are recorded, how they are tracked, this all information should be given as a part of the technology transfer. In some cases, the technology transfer is from the developer to the company who is involved in the software development or the technology transfer teams. So in IT also there are some technology transfer team members are there, so who are involved in the technology transfer, or directly in some cases the software technology transfer information is directly given to the user. Further, it includes some support provisions, what type of different supports will be provided as a part of a transfer of a knowledge. Then in addition to that, when the information will transferred, knowledge will be transferred to the user, then the installation and operational qualification plays a very important role. So here the involvement of a installation and operation qualification will be from developer, then from technology transfer, and also from the user point of view. So all three different people, three different stream or three different team of the people should be involved in a technology transfer process, where the installation qualification and operational qualifications activities will be done. Okay, hope you are getting my point, you are with me. If you have any questions, I request you to put your questions in the chat box, and I will respond to your all queries. Okay, then the next is commercial. Commercial means now it is under the user purview, so it is received at the user end now. So when we are discussing this with respect to the user, first of all, ensure the training to all concerned. Now here please understand the difference in the training which we considered in the technology transfer, and here in the technology transfer the training focus was something different. Training was not only the process flow, but also the weakness, strongness, and all the aspects need to be shared and informed to the user. So user means not all the people who are going to use that system, but only some key users this information can be given, and who are taking care of the project of a computerized system implementation in their organization. But when we are discussing about the commercial stage, where the training need to be ensured to all the people. So in this case, the training includes process flow, how the process need to be followed religiously, and what are the respective documents need to be recorded, respective procedures need to be followed. That all this type of training is under this section of a commercial uses. Then under that again, the person need to ensure that whether the correct privileges are given. So what happened, this when the person is starting using the computerized system, then the very important is roles and privileges. So see, the the software or the computerized system is developed by the IT people. They are not from pharma, so they don't know that what are the different levels of controls in your organization. In some companies there are 5 or 6 controls. For example, the user, then the team leader, then the reviewer, then the manager, then the quality reviewer, somebody will be an auditorial reviewer, somebody will be the admin. So there are 5-6 levels will be there. Or in some company there will be hardly 2 or 3 levels. 3 levels means like a user level, then or analyst level, whatever, followed by the manager and the admin level. So what happened, the software is developed considering the different levels and all the different privileges. So what type of levels we need to design in the our facility, and what type of privileges need to be given, that is all is discussed and plan perform at the OQ stage, operational qualification, which is during the technology transfer. But the point here is, when we are discussing about the commercial level, why it is required to ensure again the correct roles and privileges, because this will be studied in the production level. Up to IQ and OQ, installation qualification and operational qualification, this study will be on a test server. So it will be on a test server basis. So server will be different. When we are discussing about the user level or commercial level, then all the data will be transferred from the test server to the production server. So there may be possibility of some changes. Please try to remember this point. So here you have to again ensure that whatever we suggested, all the roles and privileges, whether they are correctly given or not. Then followed by finalization of all the SOPs and 3 cycle run, minimum 3 cycle run. Basically you can have 5 cycles also, 4 cycles also, based on your experience and the confidence in the system, but I suggest personally minimum 3 cycles you can have in the production environment. Okay, in the production environment means what? For example, if suppose the training software is there, so whatever is the process flow, the new person join and the training is allotted, training is given, whatever, then this process flow need to be studied for 3 different people or 3 different training subjects, so that the you can say the performance of this computerized system is as per the user requirement, and this is required to ensure that it is in line with the user as well as regulatory requirements as well as the cGMP requirements. So this is the 3rd stage, you can say, about the life cycle stage. And the 4th is a product discontinuation. Means what? Means each computerized system will have some life. So up to the end of life, it should work exactly in line with what we are expecting here in a stage through. That means it should be in line with the user regulatory requirements and the cGMP requirements. It should work up to that discontinuation stage. This is the product discontinuation. Okay, Of course, there are other thoughts also with respect to the product discontinuation. Okay, like when we are discussing about the product discontinuation, then need to evaluate the product life. Then you need to discuss about the support by the team or the vendor. Then a third will be you can consider the about the data generated, data review and access, readability of the data which are need to be reviewed and accessed, which is generated by the old computerized system, you know. So these all points need to be considered under the product discontinuation. Okay, see, I always suggest that don't only refer the training presentation, because what happened, I just put some key content in the training presentation just to remind me that what points I need to discuss with you. So other than that, I am discussing lot of points also. So I always suggest that, okay, once you got the training presentation, no problem, but if you want to learn it, go through the complete discussion, or training is automatically getting recorded. Okay, so hope you got the point about the these 4 life cycle goals. Now let us discuss about the more discussion on the computerized system. Okay, hope up to here everything is clear, right? Now, so when we are discussing, so very important thing you discuss about, you remember the first point, that triggering the computerized systems and all, that means what? Change, control, initiation. Remember the things? Change, control, initiation. Hope you remember, right? So second is initial risk assessment, and third is user requirement specification. So here are some key points, you know. When we are discussing about this change control, initial risk assessment and the user requirement, here you need to consider some facts, some you know, the key points, like system information, means whether the system is a new or the existing, or it is the laboratory software or the production equipment related system or any other control system. That all you need to consider when we are discussing about the system information. For example, if you are discussing about only the software, then what about the hardware which will support to that software? What about the other antivirus and other supporting softwares will be required? That all you need to evaluate. Second is business requirement. What is exact business requirement, and whether it is relevant to the cGXP, whether this business requirement is with respect to the cGXP scope or not. Then of course ER and SR relevance, means you know, the you can say the what type of relevance with respect to the categorization of that system, or you can say the GAMP categorization. Then URS, most of the people consider these, you know, that, you know, when we are discussing about the URS, no? Please remember that URS should be designed based on the risk-based approach. What does it mean? When you are studying the computerized system, you are performing the risk assessment, please try to understand that when you know, you perform the risk assessment, you will identify some risk. So when you identify the risk of the computerized system, that all risk you need to mitigate. You have to mitigate all the risk. So that mitigation should be put in the user requirement specification. So some user requirements will be there, that what is the business purpose and all that, you will specify that what is the purpose of the things and all. But also very important point is, whatever the risks are identified, that should be mitigated in the URS. That is what the expectation behind this. And GAMP categorization, already you are aware about the GAMP categorization. Why? Because based on the category of the GAMP, you are aware about that, right? There are 4 categories of software for under the GAMP category, and hardware there are 2 categories, you know. Based on that categorization, the different testings are planned. So if you are interested in the another session on the testing planning based on the categorization and all, we will take the another session on this. Okay, then when we discuss about the URS, then we have to consider some points: purpose of the system, brief description of the system, design and environment, regulatory requirements, service requirements, and if you are considering some specific regulatory requirements and all, then you can put references that why you need to have this control. You got my point? Hope you got my point, right? Any question, please? I suggest you can put in the chat box. Okay, I will take questions after the end of this session. Okay. Now, so this is what I was telling about the 3 stages: change control, then initial risk assessment, and then URS. Then the 4th stage will be vendor identification and assessment. So what does it mean? When we discuss about the vendor identification and assessment, then it includes identification of a vendor. Now here one point I want to touch upon, very important point. We are discussing this vendor point number 4, correct? Stage number 4. Now when I am discussing this, basically the stage number 4 here, many people, what they do, they identify the vendor first, they develop the software, the computerized system and all, and when the software will be received in the facility, that time they raise a change control. This is absolutely wrong. This is absolutely wrong. Please try to understand. You have to raise the change control first. Many people are following the wrong practice, so that is why I am telling you this. Many people raise the change control at the last. So ideally the change control should be raised at first, and then after all the evaluation and URS and all, you have to identify the vendor and assessment. Then you have to identify suitable vendor. Then you have to assess the vendor through any audit or as a per applicable anything else. So followed by vendor documents like design specification, functional specification, or the computerized system or the operational manual assessments and all, and then you need to finalize the vendor. Even I am supporting for so many companies about the evaluation of the computerized system vendors. So where I am evaluating there all the process flow, whether it is in line with the regulatory requirements, whether the process flow controls are in line with the data integrity requirements, whether the vendor is following the quality systems and all, and based on that I certify the computerized system vendor as a cGXP vendors. cGXP certification I am giving to the vendor from our agency NADH plus GXP compliance services. So you can consider this assessment also from the vendor. And this is not only the certification is given to the vendor, but along with the certification, short report will be there, where it will be clearly mentioned that the certificate is valid only when it is produced along with the report. So report will have all the detailed evaluation of a process and quality systems and everything. So this is what the 4th stage of a vendor identification and assessment. Many of the companies lack into the vendor identification and assessment of the vendor. So I thought that this should be the point where we need to discuss. And the 5th stage is the validation plan. So when you are discussing about the validation plan, you have to consider some points, like you have to explain about the necessary requirements, like life cycle documentation, role, responsibilities. You need to define the test strategy, that what type of test you need to perform, criteria for final acceptance, release of the systems, and maintenance of lifetime compliance. All these points you have to consider in the validation plan. Also, when you are considering the validation prospect of the computerized system, then it should be performed in a logical, systematic way and a risk-based approach. Means what? Means when you identify the risk and based on that you develop the computerized system, right? So when you are performing the validation, preparing the validation plan, and you are planning to have a test strategy, then you have to mitigate the risk by performing that particular test. Means I am telling about the black box testing. So that identification of the test should be based on the risk-based approach, and this should be, risk should be based on the logical and a systematic manner, right? Hope message is clear and everyone is with me. Then after this, system installation qualification, where we need to evaluate the server plays very important role. Many people lack when they are discussing about the IQ, they only focus on the software, but server also plays very important role. So the type of the environment, like validation servers, production server, then what is the software name, version name, verification of a pre-installation checklist like purchase order, intactness of system components, all this need to be verified. Then you need to have some checklist for installation, like installation of instrument, equipment installation, configuration of software, all these checklists need to be followed. Then if any deviation, you identify any deviation, that has to be recorded. So you need to have some provision about recording the deviation in that, and followed by the summary and conclusion. So this is how you can consider the brief about the installation qualification. Correct? Now let us discuss about the next stage, and that is the 7th stage, operation qualification. So when we are discussing about the operational qualification, so you have to identify the different roles of the different people who are involved in the particular qualification of these activities. Then what type of documentation will be generated during the OQ stage. Then you have to finalize the test strategy, like test objective, what is the approach for testing, how you are going to record the results, what will be the acceptance criteria. This all strategy need to be prepared. Then you have to plan the test, like what exact test you are going to perform, which component and which functions you are going to test. Now here main point is, some components can be tested as a part of your white box testing during the development stage, while some hardware components can be tested by physical verifications and all. And of course some functional testing can be definitely performed during the operational qualification stage in presence of even the user. Again here the same requirement, like if any deviation is there, you need to record the deviation, and also any summary and conclusions are there, so that has to be mentioned, that what is the conclusion based on your evaluation that you have to specify, right? So this is what about the system operational qualification. Now if we go to the stage 8, so this is actually the 14 stages. So 8th stage is the system performance qualification. So here also the very important point is, you have to identify the roles and responsibilities of different people who are involved in this qualification process, and how you are going to record the PQ. Now very important point is, when we are discussing about the performance qualification, it should be in a production server. So same way you have to make a test strategy, test planning, and here more focus will be on a black box testing. And again in the performance qualification, as I discussed, that when we are discussing about the test strategy, you have to specify that consistently the system should perform as per the expectation, in line with the user requirements, the regulatory expectation and the cGXP requirements. So you need to have the multiple cycles, minimum at least 3 cycles is suggested to perform the PQ, and followed by the, if any deviations identified during the PQ, then that has to be recorded. One more point is, if any deviation is there in a installation qualification or operational qualification, minor type of deviation which will not impact on its performance and further studies and all, then based on the particular deviation you can go ahead with the next stage. But always remember that here the PQ will not be closed, performance qualification should not be closed unless and until all the deviations identified at the installation qualification, operational qualification and performance qualification are closed. If any deviation identified at the installation qualification and operational qualification, and if they impact on the process or some critical functionalities, then it should not allowed, you should not allow to go ahead. But if it is not impacting on the process flow and the controls, then definitely you can write the justification and you can go in the next stage. But however, before finalizing the performance qualification summary and conclusion, your all the deviations should be satisfactory, closed, evaluated and properly closed. Okay, hope you got the point, right? I am not so fast. If you feel that I am fast, then please you can reduce the speed and you will understand in a better way. Okay, so validation summary report, point number 9. Validation summary report is very important. Many companies lack these. I am again telling you that most of the companies only focus on IQ, OQ, PQ, installation qualification, operational qualification and performance qualification. But validation summary report plays a very important role. So what should it include? It includes the objective. Means what is the objectives of a validation summary report? This is to summarize about the what efforts you put it with respect to the computerized system, and you have to prove that the system is validated in line with the standards and respective regulatory requirements. Then second point, you have to specify that during the validation planning and all, if any deviations are there, whether they are closed or not, or any some actions are come out as a part of some deviations, that actions or follow-ups on that need to specify in the validation summary report. Then when we are discussing about the summary, you have to specify some life cycle documents. What are the life cycle documents? URS, initial risk assessment, validation plan, function specification, traceability matrix and risk assessment. These all points are required, and then followed by the post implementation review, system acceptance and release. This is the meaning of the or content of the validation summary report. Many companies, again I am telling you, they lack into this validation summary report. So I am discussing these as a part of stage 9 to prove that system is compliant to the life cycle approach. Hope you got my point. If you are still not clear, you can put your questions and I will I think I presented the wrong slide. I think this is the slide about the validation summary report I discussed just now. Okay, so you can pause and you can just go through this, and let us discuss about the next one. Okay, and this is the traceability matrix. Many people ask the question that how we can have the traceability matrix and all. So this way you can prepare the traceability matrix. Basically, what is the traceability matrix? The traceability matrix, outlines the URS and the section in which the particular requirement is tested. So you have suppose 50 URS points. Okay, you have the 50 user requirements. So that particular user requirement is tested under which particular test of IQ or OQ or PQ, or where you are ensuring that your URS requirement, user requirement are met or compliant. So you can simply have like this table, URS ID, URS 1, 2, 3, 4, and then URS specification or parameter. So you can specify what is the user requirement that you can specify here. Then whether this test you are going to perform under IQ, OQ or PQ. Suppose this test will perform under IQ, so you can specify that what is the test number under the IQ, that you can specify here under IQ test ID, and under OQ ID and PQ you can put a dash, or you if it is tested in other state like OQ and PQ also, that you can specify. So this way you can have the traceability matrix, simple tabular form, easy to understand about the traceability matrix for all the user requirements. Many people ask that which format we should use, so that is the reason I consider this, because in most of the computerized system you will find that you will come to know that this traceability matrix is lacking. Then the next is a implementation review. So now we perform the PQ means we implemented the computerized system, right? So post implementation, why it is required, whether it is having the adverse impact on your process or business process or user requirements or not, because you was not using this computerized system and you started using now, you perform the performance qualification. So after the PQ you have to evaluate whether it is having some adverse impact or not. So you have to put some post implementation review like validation documents review, deviation and change control review. So as a part of deviations and change control, you will come to know that whether some deviations are increasing, some change controls are increasing as a result of post implementation. It will indicate that if the deviation and change controls are increasing, it indicates that it is having somewhat impact on your process. So you need to work on the system. Then system security and access control review, that systems you need to develop at a routine review, that system security and access control review. Audit trail review, software and data backup review, training record review, and SOPs review. These all need to be considered as a part of the post implementation review. Hope you are with me and you are clear with all these things. Again, I am requesting, if you have any questions, please put your questions. I will discuss at the end of this session. Okay. The next is so this is a post implementation review what we discussed. The next is a periodic review. Now this is important where many companies are lacking, because I told you that when we discuss about the life cycle approach, you have to consider or you have to focus up to the life cycle or discontinuation stage, right? So periodic review plays a very important role. So periodic review of the system shall be conducted every year. So it is what I presented, but you can decide your frequency based on the criticality of the system and the impact on the business process. This is why it is required to assess the continuity of the system operation. Any upgradation or change in the system should be assessed for requalification. So any upgradation or any change should be assessed whether it is impacting on the revalidation or requalification or not, and you have to do this. Many times it is observed that so many times the upgradations will be there in the software, many upgradations will be there, but it is not evaluated. See, the point is, I am not telling that if the software is or any some minor changes will be there, you should do the requalification or revalidation. No, but at least it should be assessed whether this change is impacting on the validation state of the computerized system or not. That is need to be required, but it is lacking in many companies. So how you can do periodic review? Simple, you can have this type of a table: name of a computerized system, version number, frequency of review, date of validation, last periodic review done on, next periodic review due on, periodic revision done on, and periodic review report number. This way you can track the periodic review of the computerized system. So every year, suppose if you are performing the periodic review of the computerized system, so you will come to know that yes, whether your computerized system is complying to the requirements, exactly in line with the requirements, since you are using this computerized system. So this will help you to prove that the life cycle approach of your computerized system. Many companies lack this. What happened? Many companies only they do the once in a 5 years. So they just perform some test at the 5 years end. But this is not the case, because what happened when the computerized system is a new, so it will have some it will likely to have the changes. So 5 years personally I don't recommend, but based on the number of deviations, change control, number of updations, you can decide the frequency. Then of course once in a 5 years you can have a revalidation. So major changes or upgrades in the systems, if you come to know that it is impacting on the validation status, or if there is no any change, still I suggest that after 5 years, based on all the, you can evaluate and you can validate the critical requirements, not a complete validation like IQ, OQ and PQ, but you can consider the some critical control checks, and that critical controls can be challenged and perform the revalidation at the end of some specific period. Okay. And system retirement. Any system which has gone outdated or non-functional needs to be obsolete through proper documentation. A risk assessment may be performed to assess the impact on the particular system retirement, on the product, business continuity and output, etc. So I told at the start of the session that when we retire the system, so there may be possibility that the data generated by this system may not be readable by the new system, then it will be the risk that has to be taken care. You got my point? And second thing, if the system is retired and the new system will be implemented, whether the new system will be having the more control or at least similar controls, that has to be evaluated. And user friendly, the system also should be the user friendly. That is what the point need to be evaluated as a part of this evaluation at stage 14 about the system retirement. And this should be the part of your validation plan as a system retirement. Many validation plans lack for recording of the recording or the requirements for the system retirements. This is what I just want to share all of you about the life cycle management of a computerized system. Now let us discuss about the computerized system. This is my numbers, email ID. If you are interested in auditing your computerized system in your facility, then definitely you can contact me. Okay, so let us discuss about some questions. Okay, yeah, I need to give the company presentation, just a minute, presentation copy. Just a minute, I will copy the link. So this link will expire immediately in couple of days. So I request you to download as early as possible. Because after a couple of days the link will be non-functional. Okay. So there is a question that any guidance available on performing 3 runs in production environment. Mr. Chenna Kesava Reddy is asking this question. See, Mr. Chenna Kesava Reddy, there is no clear-cut guidance on this performing the 3 runs in the production environment. But what happened when we perform the performance qualification? So as a part of the GMP requirement, when we consider the performance qualification, it is correlated with the process validation, basically computerized process, so that is the reason the 3 cycles are considered, because when you perform the performance qualification of any equipment, instruments, you are considering the 3 runs. So in computerized system also you need to consider the 3 runs. That is the thought, but you should not restrict to 3 runs. You can based on the the criticality and all, you can go for more runs also, but to be very precise, not the less than the 3 runs. Okay, hope you got my point, how it is relevant to the 3 runs. Okay, if you have any question, please you can put immediately in the question. By the meantime I will go through the next question. The Cobweb is asking, sorry, I don't know your name. Cobweb is appearing on the screen, so I am using your word. Sir, does this CSA approach, which is very buzzing these days, does it reduces the load and coverage of the every single element coverage, just like it is being done? How can we have a better? My dear friend, let me clear one thought very clearly. The people are making a big thought with respect to the big discussions on the CSA, okay, computer system assurance, and many people are recommending that it is a reduced testing and all. But to be very frank, if you go through the CDRH see, this is basically the for medical devices requirement, right? At this moment, this CSA requirement is for applicable for medical devices. So if you go through the medical devices requirements, GMP requirements for medical devices, everybody need to follow the GMP requirement. In that it is mentioned that you have to validate completely the computerized system. Even if you go through the requirement about the computerized systems for CDRH requirement, you will come to know that CSA is nothing but the same. So only terminology, what I feel that the terminology is changed as a CSA, but all the documentation, risk assessment, all the studies, tests will be same, because here also when we discuss about the computerized system validation, we perform the risk-based approach, and based on that we prepare the URS and we perform all the testings and all. In the CSA also the same approach will be there. No much a difference, to be very frank. And robust coverage and have the freedom from load of document. See, basically you can say the white box testing, you can of course have the leverage when you are having the load of documents, when you are discussing about this in case of CSA, but it will not much impact, okay? Because at this moment also the software documentation, or you can say the this CSA, when you're performing the CSA, it will not much impact on the these documents, okay? Pharma Dreamers is asking, please explain a little bit about the system security review. Oh, very important. I think we need to take a separate training session on system security, because what happened, system security, when we are using this thought or terminology, so we need to consider with respect to the access by the other privileges or other levels of the people, access by the outsiders, then access, or you can say the attack by the outsiders like malware and viruses and all. So all the different ways, as well as we need to consider about the business continuity with respect to the system security and all. So I think we need to consider this in a separate session about the system security, because it need to be considered in a different way. Even we need to consider the controls on the different data integrity controls also with respect to system security also, right? Chennakeshwar Reddy is explaining that CSA approach reduces testing like scripted and unscripted testing. So do we need to do 3 runs since functionality is being tested in validation and flow is tested in production environment? See, if it is tested in the production environment in presence of the user, then of course no problem at all. But if user is not involved, then again you need to perform, my dear friend. Also, very important point is when you are referring this reduced testing and all, I request you, please, okay, I understand that this is explained in the CSA expectation by FDA, but when you go through the CDRH requirement, if you wish, you can go through the GAMP guideline, or if you wish, you can connect me. I will share you the CDRH guideline link. There you will come to know that there is no such a provision is given. That is the thing, okay? Testing 3 runs and documentation takes a longer time. See, I agree, Mr. Chennakeshava, but I suggest that we need to comply to the user requirement. So if you are reducing the testing and all, but point is, if you are complying to the CDRH GMP requirement, then definitely you can go ahead. That is not the problem. And the 3 runs if you are performing, and if it is in the production server and the production environment and in presence of user, then definitely you can do this, okay? So hope any other question. I think training presentation is given to share to all of you. I think you have downloaded the training presentation, okay? If any cGMP or advanced GMP members are there, they can contact me through the email or the WhatsApp. They can share you their name, so that the certificates can be issued to them under the YouTube membership program. Okay, so in the YouTube membership program there are a lot of different benefits. You can go through the YouTube membership program. You can click the join button where there is a video is put. You can go through that video detail so that you will get more information about this YouTube membership program. Okay, finally I request all people to like this video and subscribe this YouTube channel so that you will get all the notification from for the all the next upcoming videos and all. Okay, and further you can share this link, because now whatever I am discussing, a copy of this will be automatically recorded in the YouTube. So my request is you can share this link to the all your team members so that they also can get the benefit of this free learning session. Thank you so much. And as now there is no any questions, so we will stop our today's training session. We will take a break now, and we will see you in on the next Saturday. Okay, see you, bye bye, and ensure all time compliance. Thank you so much.